It's the 12 days of Claudemas, and we are up to day 9 of vibe coding using Claude Code, little applications and tools to help us with content creation. And we're doing that using the FlyGen system. And essentially, we started off with a harness. From there, we created a couple of brains, a primary brain and a second brain. After that, we've done a bunch of the generation systems. We've had images, we've had text to speech, we've got video generation, and we've got music. Yesterday, we built the thumbnail system. Today, what we're going to do is interrupt with other applications. Now, when I say interrupt, what I mean is connection to other applications to get context that we can use in our vibe coding. So today, what we're going to be working with is FlyHub, a video recording system that I've created that will allow us to take the video recordings we're doing right now and capture the transcripts. And the transcripts can either be seen in each of the recordings or for us to use it in the FlyGen application. Now, the interesting thing is that when I needed to have this API just before I started writing the video, I ended up vibe coding the screen that you're seeing here. So we'll see this screen in action, knowing full well that this was vibe coded in about 10 minutes. Now, let's go and have a look at how this is going to integrate into the FlyGen application. Now, for context, let's just go back a little bit and look at the idea that we've already been able to create text-to-speech. We've been able to turn images like this into different videos. We've also been able to create music. On day 4, we were able to generate images. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste in a prompt. I want to see what sort of images we get from this prompt. Now, the prompt that we're looking at was done by someone else. We're going to use it for a foundation. So at the moment, 4 images are about to come through, and here they come through from different models from different providers. The images that we're looking at here may be the foundation for whatever we create tomorrow in the N8N workflow. Now, while they're not the ones we will create, what we'll do is we'll just make sure they're all added into the shot list up above, just so they're saved as reference. Now, I have not written the prompt that is here, but what I do want to do is be able to create a prompt similar to this, but I want to do it from just a simple conversation to get to here. I also don't want to do it just for creating the image. What I want to be able to do is also edit the image into something quite a bit different, and then afterwards animate from the first image through to the second image. Now, if you're thinking that that sounds similar to what we did on day 6, where we might have had an image on the left and an image on the right, and we'd put in some sort of animation prompt and generate a video this way, you'd be right from the point of view that we've been able to take an image on the left, turn it into a video, joining up to an image on the right. But the problem with all the examples we did using this technique was there was questionable quality and scene consistency between each of the videos. Now, tomorrow we will do that improvement using N8N, and we'll do it using prompts provided by Steve from DreamingComputers. I'll provide a link to his Instagram and website in the description below. But right now, let's get straight on to the interrupt. The main goal of today is just to take prompts that are spoken in a video and have them ready so that they can be converted to other formats. I'm thinking we'll have 3 different prompts. The first one will allow us to set the scene location. The second one will edit it. So whatever we get in the first one, we want to edit it with this second one. And then the third one will be the animation instruction, the ability to get from the first image to the second image. I'm going to be speaking them into a little video, and we're going to capture the transcript. What I don't want to do is have to be a prompt expert. I don't want to speak a professional prompt. What I want to do is speak like a human, but have it turned into a professional prompt. This is all going to be done with a different application, being FlyHub. We're going to need to capture each of the prompts that we want to say into a project, and we'll just do the video we're recording right now. And then we're going to need to grab the transcripts, and the transcripts are going to come from the chapter that we're recording right now. And then we'll probably have each of the prompts in segment 1, 2, and 3. Now, if I tried to get the prompts as transcripts right now, we'd probably get no data. And the reason is we haven't recorded a prompt yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get us set up with a new chapter. We'll call it chapter 3, and it'll just have the prompts. And in this application, we would do it by just coming over and clicking on the new chapter button and calling it prompts. And what will happen is as soon as I say a prompt and I save the video, it'll go into a file called 03-1 prompts, and we will see it listed down here. So let's just start speaking the prompts we would like to see visualized. Prompt: I want a wide shot of a big modern living room. It's empty, concrete floors, minimal architecture, big glass windows all around looking onto a tropical jungle. It's daytime, sunlight is coming in, it feels clean and quiet. Editing prompt: keep the room exactly the same angles, same windows, but make it night outside with moonlight. Add furniture that looks like it grew from plants, vines, and roots. Add a warm lamp inside and keep it realistic. Prompt for animation of the room with the roots and the vines growing into the furniture, moss spreads into the cushions, day turns into night outside, the jungle gets darker and misty, a lamp turns on inside with a warm amber light. Keep it cinematic and realistic, like a time lapse. Now, me recording those 3 different prompts as video have ended up as 3 separate videos within the 03 chapter. If we head over to the watch page, what we can see is that each of the prompts that I recorded has been transcribed. We have the exact words that were said in the video. As it goes on to the next video, we'll just see that pop up. It's a different set of words. So this is where the editing prompt will go. And the last prompt will be where the animation prompt is. We can see prompt for animation kicking in here. What I want to do with each of these is turn them into a much more complex prompt that we can turn into better visualizations. What we can do now is get ready to start developing. And before we do that, we'll want to take some sort of brief, and I have done one ahead of time, and make it available to the product owner so that they can turn it into a requirements document. Once that's done, we'll hand it to the developer for developing. I've set up right ahead of time is just a Claude instance, and we're ready to go with the product owner. We'll just give him some information to read. The basic idea for day 9 is that we have prompt intake. We're taking it in from the FlyHub application. The 3 different inputs we're going to get will be for the seed image, where we start from, then from the editing of the image to make it into a second but different image. Lastly, it'll be the animation prompt, which is the animated transition from the first image to the second image. When I wrote this planning document, I also wanted it to understand that there would be compiler prompts. So we're only giving simple prompts. We're going to run them through a compiler prompt so that we get an advanced prompt out the other end, which should give us a pretty good first and second image, plus the animation. Our product owner has prepared all the documentation for our developer, and we can see the basic workflow. It's about reading in the 3 different video segments. We'll need some sort of import button for all 3 of the different prompts. And we've got a little bit of an idea of where the outputs will go at the end. At the moment, it's going through and creating a bunch of type definitions for the shape of the data that we want to communicate between the other server and our server. I know when I talked to Steve about the N8N workflow that we were going to go with prompt A, prompt B, and prompt C, though that might have been better off saying master prompt, edit prompt, and animation prompt. One thing we can see happening right here, we've got this little log of the new server FlyHub status, and that'll probably show up in here. I believe it's coming through right now. And right now we're about to change the screen. So the screen should get wired up into this location here. So the code has been written right here, and the wiring up is happening with the app. And here's something coming together. Not exactly sure how it's planning to do this connection. The FlyHub is online at the moment because we can see it running over here. One of the things I can see is that it was a project code, a a chapter ID and what segments to work with. So we could come back to our video, which is C04 for a project code. Now I am ready to start testing this with project C04, but I'm a little concerned about the FlyHub offline. So we go and have a look at what the developer has produced. And we can see there's a bunch of code coming through here. I'm just going to give it a little question. And what I want to know is, what does it think the endpoint is for FlyHub? And the other thing I want to know is, if we were doing a curl command, how could we talk to that particular application? The curl command is just a command line tool that can hit an endpoint like a URL with parameters and return the results. So if we could run that in the terminal here, we would know whether it's working or not working. The information looks good. We've got localhost 5101. I know that's where the application runs. We've got a endpoint of the API transcript where you would pass in the chapter ID and you would pass in the segment ID. But I can already see where the issue is, because we're getting the transcript, but we're not getting the project. And that's the project where I'm recording my videos. If we go over to the FlyHub system where I've got my little API endpoint helper, what we can do is put in the chapter that we want. So it's number 3. Put in the segments we want, which is 1, 2, and 3. We know that the project code is C04, and in this case, it's the 12 days of Claudemas 09. And if we hit the curl here, we could copy it and make it available, but we can also see it visually. This is the bit that's missing, I believe. What I'm going to do is go down to the terminal and tell it, firstly, I think you've got the wrong endpoint. You're missing the project code. This is what it should look like. So we'll just put that bit of the prompt in and we'll paste in our information from before. We'll also put in this other prompt. It says that the server that we're trying to connect to is offline. I know that the server is online. What's going on here? We'll paste in a little message that I found up here. Now, the other thing it's trying to figure out is this health. Now, I know I don't have an endpoint that just starts with health. It would be API or something. Let's go over to our API endpoints, see if we've got them. This was all generated using Vibe coding, so I haven't checked it fully. There we go. We've got a health endpoint. Let's click on that. And what's the send request? Or we'll see what the curl comes up with. We just need to give it that information right there. Or we get down to the terminal and just say health endpoint is here. I didn't tell it to read it to find out the structure. Probably should. I'd also want to just make sure it understands the structure of the data for each of the endpoints. Whatever that's returning, it needs to be conforming to it. Now, whether that finishes or not, part of this seems to have improved anyway, because we've got a green here, but it's still writing a fair bit of code, so I won't test it until it's finished. I'm glad I asked it to check the data types. It's changing concepts that it came up with, like segments to transcripts or segments here to size. It's made pretty extensive changes. Let's see if it's changed anything on the interface. We can see 2 concepts that are a bit different. It's got the FlyHub project code and chapter, and it's giving a suggestion. I know I should just be able to put in a code, and we'll put in chapter 3. I know that to be true, and I'm not sure what this should be. We'll do what it says, VSS 001, and we'll leave it at segment 1, 2, and 3. This is reading from this chapter, and let's press the import, and this looks like the correct information. Now, it's also got this save project. I'm just going to go down to VS Code. We've got a little projects folder here. It's currently empty. Let's see what happens if we save project, and that's what that project code was, VSS 001. We've got the human prompts. This is what came in from the transcript. This is some sort of project document. And what's the source transcription? This is also what was said. So a little bit of redundancy between there and there, but that'll be okay for now. Now we've got prompts that we've taken purely from my voice or from a video recording, and you can see that original recording, and highlighted is the text that it's brought down for us. Now, what we would like to do is take each of these human prompts, put them through a prompt compiler that can convert them into a much richer prompt that would work better with image and animation generation. Now, I'd like to go into the advanced compiled prompts, but it's currently 10:30 at night. So we're going to do that tomorrow when we move back over to the N8N workflows. The way we're going to do the N8N workflows is that we're going to use an API that's been provided for us by a mate of mine, Steve from DreamingComputers. And he's someone that does a lot of work with art and professional light shows. And he's also got some interesting movies that he's been doing. So I'll see you tomorrow when we work with the N8N to build better video animations than we've seen with our own generations. I'm Happy Dave. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.